Today, we're diving into a way of looking at life struggles that might just change your perspective. It's this idea that our challenges aren't just random, but are actually battles on an unseen spiritual front. So, let's get right into it. We've all been there, right? Those moments where you feel completely overwhelmed, like the odds are just impossibly stacked against you. But what if there's more going on than what we can see? The material we're exploring today says, yeah, there absolutely is. And here it is, the core idea. The real fight isn't with the people or the situations right in front of us. It's with principalities and powers, these unseen spiritual forces. Honestly, this one idea, if you really take it in, changes everything. Okay, so if it's a battlefield, you know there have got to be two opposing sides, two missions, two agendas that are incredibly different and always at play in our lives, right? What's so striking here is just how clear-cut these two missions are. This is pulled from John 10:10. On one side, you've got a mission that is purely destructive, to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But on the other side, it's all about restoration, to give life, and not just life, but life to the fullest. Pretty much every conflict we face is being pulled on by one of these two agendas. In any kind of conflict, you've got to know your enemy's playbook if you want to win. So let's take a closer look at the strategy of the thief. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Resist him, steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same sufferings are experienced by your brotherhood in the world. Wow, that is some powerful imagery, isn't it? The adversary is painted as this roaring, prowling lion. It's an image that's definitely meant to make you feel a little bit of fear, to make you stay on your toes. But as we're about to see, there might be a lot more roar here than actual bite. These different names really paint a clearer picture of this lion's tactics. See, he's not just some brute force predator. He's called a thief, a liar, an accuser. This tells us this isn't a physical brawl. It's a war of strategy, of deception, and of manipulation. And here is the critical plot twist. The roar, it's all a bluff. The lion is actually described as being toothless. So all that terrifying noise, it's meant to create the illusion of power, not the reality of it. So, okay, if the lion has no teeth, what's its weapon? Deception. It operates just like a con artist. A con artist doesn't use force, right? They trick you. They use lies and fear to get you to just hand over what is already yours. And just like with any con, the biggest danger is simply not knowing you're in one. Now this verse, this is presented as the major turning point in the whole story. It's claiming that a final, decisive victory has already been won. The enemy wasn't just beaten, he was disarmed and made a public spectacle. That implies a complete, legal, and very visible removal of his power. So this one single event completely changed the rules of engagement. The war isn't about trying to figure out who's going to win, because the outcome has already been decided. The key word to zero in on here is legally. This wasn't just a military-style victory, it was a legal transfer of authority. The enemy's right to operate, his power, was officially and legally revoked. It was cut off at the source. And here's where it becomes really personal. That authority that was won, it wasn't kept, it was delegated. You can almost think of it like being given power of attorney. Believers have been given the legal right to act with the authority that was won on their behalf. And this changes everything about the believer's identity in this conflict. The whole perspective shifts. You go from seeing yourself as a helpless victim, just tossed around by circumstances, to seeing yourself as an armed soldier, fully equipped and positioned for victory. Okay, so what does it actually mean to be an armed soldier? This is the armor of God from Ephesians 6, a very specific toolkit, a kind of spiritual armor designed for this exact conflict. And it's incredibly strategic. Each piece is designed to counter a specific tactic. For example, The belt of truth is your defense against the enemy's number one weapon, which is deception. The breastplate of righteousness, that protects your heart from accusations of guilt and shame. And the shield of faith, that's what you use to extinguish those fiery darts, those anxious, fearful thoughts. It's a complete system for defense and offense. And the actual battle plan, it's presented as being remarkably simple. It's from James 4:7, and it's a clear 3-step sequence. First, you align yourself with God's authority. Second, you actively resist the deception. And the promised result? The enemy will flee. It has to. This verse really captures the ultimate identity of someone who's operating from this place of victory. It's not just about winning a single fight, it's about living as more than a conqueror, because you know the bigger war is already won. So it all really boils down to this choice, a choice of perspective. Are you going to live like a victim, sort of unaware of the spiritual battle and just reacting to whatever life throws at you? Or are you going to live as a victor, aware that the victory's been won and ready to actively enforce it in your own life? And so we end with this final, powerful question. The war is already over. It's won. The only question left is, how are you going to live out that victory?